So good evening. So let us start with the decoding of syllabus. Now in the preliminary examination, they give you the out of 6 units. Economic and social development is a major unit. In that we have a subunits. Our subunits is the sustainable development, poverty, inclusion, demographics, and social sector initiatives. Okay, so you don't have the word Indian economy. You don't have the word Indian economy. This is the prescribed syllabus. Is it clear? So, for the preliminary preparation, we need to test ourselves. We need to test and acquaint ourselves with this prescribed syllabus. One thing I want to remind you, already I have spoken earlier, that is before 2013, before 2012, Indian economic syllabus was a prescription. And still the trainers and the training institutes are focusing only on that. Actually, from 2013 onwards, we have this, especially what? Economic and social development. Is it clear? So economic and social development is a key word, that's a major unit. And which are the things you need to focus? Which are the things we need to focus? The focal point is this. Focal point is this: sustainable development, poverty, inclusion, demographic, and the social sector initiative. So if out of 100 questions, which have been regularly asked in the last 7 years, if 15 to 20 questions is allocated for this area, it means that you are expected to focus on all these things. So now how to decode this? If you see economic and social development, these are the focal areas. Then where do the subject matters? How would you further decode? Now here, the economic and social development, economic and social goes hand in hand. You cannot, it is inseparable. That is, economic and social is inseparable. You can call it as economic development or social development. Okay. So here, the development is more focused on. If you look at these things, all these are interrelated concepts relating to development. But to know the development or the basic elements of development is what you call growth. Actually, the earlier syllabus before 2012, it was only on the growth and growth related concepts. Is it clear? So now we have to further add to this how we are decoding it. That is to know the development, the growth factors or the concepts related to growth. Okay. So the concepts related to growth only we need to know. That is one part of it. And the equal part is or if not more than the growth, the development on these focal areas. Development on these focal areas. So if you look at the question, actually from the growth areas, maybe out of 15 questions or 20 questions, ranging from minimum 15 to maximum 20 questions have been asked. In that you can see 5 to 6 questions on the maximum on the 1/3 of 15, maybe 5 to 6 on the growth, and rest is on these areas. Rest is on these areas they are focusing. Now what are the growth? So development means growth plus factors. Development means what? Growth plus factors. Okay. Now the concepts related to development only this. Now growth plus factors means we have to focus on, please note that, growth. So growth plus factors is the development. Growth or growth related concepts Now growth related concepts, now simply we put it as three major macroeconomic policies. Three major macroeconomic policies. Three major macroeconomic policies. So these three macroeconomic policies means the macroeconomic policy, for example, in 12th NCERT books, that is what I focus on. The macroeconomic policies, which is completely connected with your growth and growth concepts. One is fiscal policy. One is fiscal policy. Now, fiscal policy is also known as government finance or public finance. Fiscal policy is, in other words, called as a government finance or public finance. The public is the other word for government. Okay. Then second is a monetary policy. Monetary policy. There is policy relating to money supply in India. Money supply in India. Or the monetary policy is determined by or decided by Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India. So, related to monetary policy, what are the RBI actions that all those concepts related to that? That's the second one. Third is the open economy or India and globalization. India and globalization. Simply in the NCERT, we have it as an open economy. That is the chapter called as an open economy, or we call it as a foreign trade policy. Foreign trade policy of India. Foreign trade policy of India. Okay, so the foreign trade policy of India we have. So all the Indian economy and the relationship with other trading with other partners of the world or globalization is that a third major policy. So fiscal policy related to government, monetary policy related to RBI, and open economy, India and globalization. India and globalization. Now, related to this is almost all the concepts related to growth we need to know, and this is only, especially if you see the last 7 years, where the questions have been. So, prior to 2012, the entire 20 questions would come on this area only. Now, actually, it has been strict to 1/3, so only 4 to 5 questions on this area, especially they focus more on the, because your main syllabus is there, they focus more on the monetary policy and RBI. Monetary policy, RBI. Next importance is to globalization, open economy. Least importance is given to the fiscal policy, because in main examination syllabus, you have the policy government budgeting. Government budgeting. So they don't concentrate here. But however, 1 or 2 questions comes. 1 or 2 questions comes. Okay. So this is the growth. There is the growth. So if you, so what we need to prepare for the preliminary examination, for the preliminary testers, examiner want to test your understanding level, that's all. You want to test your understanding level. So they frame a question in such a way that whether the concepts are understood and applied, whether you are able to, you have a broad understanding of it and you are able to apply it in real. Okay, so you can see that now the must-know concepts of prelims. Must-know concepts of prelims. So from this area, as well as the development, So you have prescribed books, for development, you have a 10 standard basic books, understanding of development. Okay, that's NCERT. 11, Indian economic development we have. Indian economic development we have. That's how the development is focal on India. Third is on the 12th standard macroeconomic alone, we have these 3 chapters. In all, almost I have narrowed down around 120 concepts you are likely to know, you are expected to know, and that is what the examiner also tests you. For example, when coming to the basics, now the must know concepts like, for example, all these are I have just listed based on your NCERTs. Now, nothing beyond the NCERTs is not required for you. Nothing beyond the basics. So, even if you are reading it or you are attended the class session, whether these concepts are known to you, whether you are able to apply, and what are the related concepts? What are the related concepts? Is clear? So, for example, you are talking about globalization, yes, but unless until the capitalistic economy, socialistic economy, mixed economy, if you are not understanding, you may not understand the complete picture of globalization. Because globalization is nothing but a new form of capitalism. It's a neoliberalism. So one thing I am telling you, see, these are all the concepts. It is not that we need to understand the concept alone, but how it is related to other concepts. Or that particular concept have emerged in the environment or in context of which situation. So some concept is emerging, or actually some situation would have been demanding it. And once it is coming, either it would have its, the past record and consequence also. Even the, prognosis, even the consequences. So it means that what? So, if you are knowing a concept, if you are knowing these dimensions, yes, fine. So it is, without connecting a capitalistic economy, you cannot completely understand the globalization as such. Or globalization is associated with WTO. So, all the concepts, interrelated concept, you have to know. So, if you take up a globalization, what are the globalization associated and opposite associated? It's antonyms and synonyms like. What are the similar concepts associated with? What are the opposite concepts associated with that? So it's not that knowing the individual. So what is the focus? First thing is, yes, you know what is the book you need to read. It is not nothing new. Yes, it's a limited work. But in that, what would be the focus area? So you can see that the first initial, you can see in the basics, or you will see the free economy, or capitalistic economy, socialistic economy, mixed economy. Now from this only, the later concepts would come. Now, computing the growth you have. In computing the growth, for example, all these concepts in the books are there, like national income, GDP, and GDP calculated in different mode, constant price, current price, GDP at factor cost, market price, then NDP, NNP, national income, all these are derivatives, and all these are interconnected. So, you know this concept, but all these are interconnected with other similar concepts. So, it is not to be known only this, but GDP, how it is related to national income. National income, how it is related to, NNP at factor cost, or NNP at factor cost, how it is computed. Now, if you know that, yes, that is what. So, it is not that you read alone and not knowing its lineages, not knowing its connectivity will make no good. So, even if you see all the concepts related to the growth and all the concepts related to development, okay. So all I have just listed, maybe you will have it in your mail. It will be mailed to you. You can see that over All the concepts I have listed, for example, fiscal policy we have come in the macroeconomic. Now, you cannot understand the fiscal policy without knowing the taxation system, non-tax revenue, what are the different types of taxes, specific tax, ad valorem tax, or what are the different mechanisms that the taxes are, designed and implemented, progressive taxation, proportional taxation, and regressive taxation. So all these are, the concepts. So it is not that your understanding is tested means it, what is the examiner is focusing on? How well you have understood the concept. How well you have understood the concepts. That's all. So completely you can see this list. That is, you have a, around around 115 concepts simply I have listed out from your expected basic books NCERT. Now you have to make it as a checklist. Before coming for the test, yes, I know this concept. Or having read, coming to the examination, or when you put it in the form of a question, now it is to test you whether, yes, I have understood, but when it comes to application, when I'm asked to correlate with others, whether I'm able to do. So it's a three-way process, whether you know the concept, whether you know to apply the concept. Second is having known to apply, whether you are converting into marks. For example, it is maybe the third stage is related to, you may find while reading or while marking, if there is execution. So third part is the execution. So knowing the concept, then it is, you know how to apply the concept, it means understanding. Now whether the execution is done properly. For example, you know the question, you know the concept, yes, you know the answer also. When coming to the execution, you flop somewhere, either clerical or even in reading the question, something, you know the concept, but you are not able to convert that into marks. So these three steps are very, very necessary. The first two is the predominant. Okay, the third execution is the lighter part. You can just by the practice you can bring it. But the time taken for your preparation, most of the time has to be spent on knowing the concept and understanding the concept. This is the first two stages. Okay, so what is the thing is, read little, apply more. That's a simple, maxim I would say, or the formula I would say. Read little, apply more. Read little, apply more. It is not about reading and not applying or not giving a thought process to it will not do good. It's not for this exam. It is for any competitive examination. They say read little, apply more. Read little, apply more. So it's normally a slogan is that instead of reading 10 textbooks on a particular subject matter, read one textbook, which is a standard 10 times. That will give you more clarity, that will give you a more, so when you do it, it means what? When you, for example, first time when you read the concept, yes, you have understood. But later on, having read the newspapers and reading it again will give you a different dimension. It means that what? Now, the knowing the concept is, it is a degree. For example, today you have read, yes, I have understood. Even after 10 years you read the same definition, you will get a better clarity. Because more exposure, more things you have encountered, you will get. It means that understanding is a degree, it's in degree, not absolute, yes or no. So your degree of understanding, what they expect here is only the basics. Please remember, it's not to the level of research or anything. So stick to the big books and have a list of these must-know concepts and move on. Now coming to the next stage, coming to the analyzation of previous questions. previous questions. I tell you, 2013. Actually, these questions are asked in 2013. I would say that you take this question, it is all from the growth. You can see from 2013 onwards till 2019, if you see, first 3 years of this new syllabus, more concentration was on growth. Because they have come from the, existing pattern where Indian economy was focused. Okay, so in the earlier syllabus, they used to study about the capital market, Indian money market, etc. in detail. And questions were asked. So now you can see from the stock market or in the capital market related to SEBI, nothing is coming. Now what happened is, if you look at the trend, 2013 to 2019, if you see, 2013, 14 and 15, you could see that more of the growth was there. But if you take the last 3 years, that is 19, 18 and 17, it means that 75% of the questions is on the development, So you can find the least question even on the growth factors, especially when I say growth factors, it's your 12th macroeconomics book, especially questions are there, it is only on the majority on the RBI and monetary policy or open economy. And more questions on which I showed you, sustainable development, poverty, where we don't concentrate. For example, we don't concentrate. Simple, I'm telling you. Now you can simple, I'm telling you. Here, development. Now, the majority of the questions are on these focal areas. Now, many questions we think that it is a current affairs question. We think it as a current affairs question. No, it is not that. It is related to these. Now, when you put a questions on this, we tend to believe that it is a current affairs question. And whichever we are not able to decode, we put it as a current affairs and make a current affairs a big unit. No, it's not that. Actually, if you see current affairs, exclusively when they ask on this, when they ask beyond these 6 units, you can put it as a current affairs. I'll simply tell you, in Indian polity and governance, tomorrow, you will see that governance, in the Indian polity and governance, you have a chapter called public policy. You have a public policy. Now that is completely related to government schemes and programs. All the government schemes and programs is part of your Indian polity and governance one subunit. But we treat it as a current affairs. One day. You just come to the another unit where ecology and environment. You have ecology and environment, and you can see that is also where most focus on the those areas. What are the recent happenings? We put it as a current affairs. That's a one major area. Another thing is on the science and developments. So we don't have the conventional questions put on the science and technology, like from your NCERT science textbooks. What is the viscosity? What is surface tension? They don't ask you. What is the concept? Because that is not they just get into the recent, latest application site. They ask you about blockchain technology. Okay, how the Blu-ray disc is, what is the basic function of Blu-ray disc? Micro oven, how it is functioning. What is the fundamental basics in which LED light is functioning? Now these are all the modern gadgets that we are using it. Now they just put it. You read in the newspaper, but what is the basics behind it? They test you. Even on general science. So you take a general science, you take a public policy, you take an environment, there in all these areas, other plus those areas, poverty, inclusion, demographic and social sector initiatives, it looks like current affairs. If you add all these things, this is current affairs. This is current affairs. But actually, they don't go without logic. Now, if you decode this and study, it will be easier. It will be easier. For simple, you can see that poverty is, because why I am showing this is, people don't focus these areas. People don't focus this area. I'm telling you, people still believe that economics is about, in our syllabus, they restrict to macroeconomic. They don't concentrate on here. Where only 1/3 of the questions are in that area. They don't concentrate on the, these areas. Now, all these areas, poverty, inclusion, demographics and social sector initiatives are completely, it is interconnected with development. It's interconnected with development. Now, we should understand what is development. Now, growth and development, you have a connectivity. Development and poverty, what is the connectivity? Development and inclusion. For example, simple question is that, I put a question or a statement. Connecting you, concept of development and concept of inclusiveness. This is inclusion is what? Inclusive growth or financial inclusion or concept of inclusivity. Now, is there any connection? First, we need to know. Or the development and demographic, the study of population in India, whether development demographic as a connectivity. Now, when you study, earlier, we were not able to develop because we said population is our liability. Population was your liability. Today, we say population is our asset. We have a largest youth population. We have a demographic dividend. Now we say that strength of India is about having a, huge population. That too, the population is young. Now, today we say our development is linked with our demographic. Today. And how we are going to give jobs for them. Now, that's a real challenge which economic survey and everything focuses upon. If you take a social sector initiatives, when you have a poverty, to make the poverty come out of, you have to run a schemes. You have to run a schemes or try to develop the social sector, especially the education and health. Now it is linked with demography or development. You have sustainable development, concept of sustainable. Now all these are interconnected. Now all these basic links, if you see, you will find it in your NCERTs, understanding of development. But what we do is what? We once give a reading and throw it, that's all. Yes, I have read. But not giving a, just a thought process. How this is linked with that. How this is, because for this, all these are subunits. For main unit, all these are subunits given in your syllabus. Now how it is connected? Now that is how they are going to, put it in a question form. They are going to put it in a question form, nothing else. So please go carefully and revisit your areas, the questions. Please note that the trend is completely moving. 2013, 2014 and 2015. Please note that 75% of the question was on growth, 1/3 or less than that was on development. I think now you know what is growth areas and what is development areas. Is clear? Now I'm not coming, now just take the last three, 2019, 2018, 2017. So I'm saying that you take the first 3 years and the last 3 years of the syllabus. Now in the last 3 years, go back and see, that is around 75 to 80% of the questions are development oriented, or it's related to this. Because last time, the problem is the people who analyze it, put it in the current affairs, that's a problem. And you will see that in economic, no question is coming or least question is coming. No, it's not that. Now, later to this, current event they are asking. For example, That is, if you take a demography, now recently from 2016, 17, 18, 19, every 2 or 3 questions are coming related to that. So actually what we have been talking is what? Demographic, what do you call demographic dividend we are talking about. Related to demographic dividend, now using that how development is we are talking today, what are the concepts associated with that like skill development or employment generation, other things. Yes, questions have been put. For example, you can see National Skill Development Council, what is the structure they have asked. So if you see that, related to that, those institutions, questions are cut. But normally without understanding and decoding it, we put it as simply, they are asking from somehow they are asking, anywhere they are asking, so current affairs you keep on reading without understanding. No, it's not that. They go with some logic and they don't go beyond basic. Now carefully you decode this. Now I will say that maybe to help you to decode this, how 80% of the question now from the last 3 years is on this area and which we believe by not decoding to be current affairs, but if you decode this, around minimum 15 questions to 17 questions at the highest are recently asked from this area. From this area. So you can see that now for decoding it, I can just help you, and related to that what are the recent happenings also you should know. You should know. Apart from, I'm telling you, yes, growth, macroeconomics, yes, we need to do. But 2 to 3 questions will be there, or at the most 4 questions will be there. But majority is going to be on this area. Is it clear? Now maybe I just give you a link where related to that link, now you can start studying it. Or related to that, if the news items are coming, please record it and have a notes of it. Because you are advised to have a track of your own newspaper and do the recording, which can no way be substituted. That can be never substituted. At the end of the every month, any magazine or anything, it's only a consolidation. They have done it, it will be easier for you to, revisit. It's not that you don't follow the newspaper and suddenly on a month end you take up and do that. No. It means that something has made easier for you. So, that consolidation, one magazine or anything, you cannot follow 2 or 3. Any one magazine or any current affairs magazine you are following, okay. Now, daily exercise of newspaper reading has to be done, then only it will be helpful. Otherwise, what will happen is, you will be reading whatever it is there. You will not be able to, discern. Now, how to make it simpler is, you go by the syllabus and related to that any events are there, now you can note down. For example, now I am linking first development and poverty. Please note it. Now it will be easier for you to development and poverty. Development. So here, development. So before that, before development and development, let me put you as development means what? Today sustainable development. Sustainable development. Now what is sustainable development? Now sustainable development in the last 40 years we have been talking about. Since 1970s we have been talking about sustainable development. Now it is a solution for 2 extremities. It's a solution for 2 extremities. Economic growth and environment. Economic growth and environment. So there is always a tussle between economic growth and environment. So economic growth I could associate with industrialization. Industrialization. So always we put this battle down to industrialization means economic growth. Now, industrialization in the process will be harming the environment. Harming the environment. Now, we cannot take both extremes. Completely environment oriented. No. Completely industrialization oriented. No. Some balance point has to be made. Now, that is what the balancing act between the industrialization and the environment is a sustainable development. Is a sustainable development. Okay. So today, what are the manifestations of sustainable development is, please note, one, second green revolution in India, second green revolution in India, or we call it as a sustainable agriculture. We call it as a sustainable agriculture. Second green revolution, I said, not in the 1960s. Today we are talking about sustainable agriculture or second green revolution. It means what? Your agriculture is scientific, what do you call it? The scientific methodology, everything you can apply, but not compromising on environment. Not compromising on environment. Is it clear? Now green GDP. The indicator is, you can see green GDP. Okay. Sustainable Development Goals of UN. Sustainable Development Goals by United Nations Organization, SDG. That is the Sustainable Development Goals. Now between, what do you call, 2015 to 2030. 2030. Okay. Nationally determined contributions. Nationally determined contributions. Nationally determined contributions. Paris Agreement on climate change. Paris Agreement on climate change. Nationally determined contributions. Carbon trading. Carbon trading. Clean energy. Clean energy. Then what are the other concepts? No other concepts you have found. In international level, for the funding of clean energy, what is the mechanism we called about it? So for investing in the clean energy, now India-like countries cannot afford. So the developed countries are helping them to, what do you call it? Just funding so that in near future the safe environment can be, what do you call it, sustained. What is that? Green climate. Green climate. Green, that one, right? Another one. These are all the schemes you are talking about. But in international level, the developed countries are trying to provide for. Yes? It's not agreements. I'm talking about the concept. Every day I've told you. Have you heard about clean development mechanism? Clean? What do you call it? The technology. CDM. We're not hearing about. See, that is a funding mechanism by the developed countries to the developing countries India to move for clean technologies. To move for, what do you call it? Clean technologies. Okay. So those concepts related to sustainable development, all concepts which you see and hear, questions will be put. I've just listed simply. I've listed simply. So if you are listing all those concepts, naturally, now questions will be put on that. Okay. So clean development mechanism, we call it as a CDM. Clean development mechanism. It's a funding mechanism. It's a funding mechanism. If you see CDM, you will have it. Okay. So all the recent, what you call concept in India are mostly for this, India is connected with global concerns. Whatever is happening in the globe, India also be part of the treaty and moving on. Okay. So it is also, please note that climate change, all agreements related to climate change. Okay. You can see it's part of this. So wherever you see the process or the fund, finance or mechanisms related to sustainable development, you have to, or it forms part of the syllabus. It forms part of the syllabus. It may be very simple, okay, I have understood, but how it is happening, now how it is, so the questions will be put on those basics. Put on the basics, you can see. Okay, even in economic survey, you have a complete dedicated chapter on sustainable development. Complete, what do you call, chapter designed to sustainable development. Or India yearbook, if you see, sustainable development itself, all the schemes, process, everything, it is put. Now coming to development and poverty. Development and, so when we say development, we are talking about sustainable development only. Yeah. So coming to development and poverty. Okay, please know that lack of development is poverty. Lack of development is poverty. When you see lack of development, what is the reflection is what? Poverty. Or we can say it's inversely proportional. Poverty and development is inversely proportional. The higher the proportion of incidence of poverty in your country, it means what? That's a lack of development. That's indicating a lack of development. When we say 40% of our population is living below the poverty line, it means to that extent lack of development. To that extent lack of development. Or the minimal incidence of poverty, we say we are surging towards what you call development path. So lack of development is what? Indication is what? Poverty. Okay. So when poverty is existing, now what are the things we need to know is, it is there in your NCERT, please note that, what do you call? One, measurement of poverty. Measurement of poverty. Kinds of poverty. Measurements of poverty. Kinds of poverty. Measures to eradicate poverty. Measures to eradicate poverty. Poverty eradication programs in India. Poverty eradication programs in India. Then again here you have to see the SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. Poverty eradication will be one of the goals. Poverty eradication will be one of the goals. Okay. Then you will have the Reason Committee for estimating. Reason Committee on Poverty Estimation. Reason Committees on Poverty Estimation in India. Reason Committees on Poverty Estimation in India. Okay. Now coming to the development and inclusivity. Development and inclusivity. Development and inclusivity. So when we say development and inclusivity, we say that is lack of development means certain sections of people. Okay, so you can see that lack of development means certain people have not been benefited by growth. Please note that. So growth process have not benefited all. So lack of development means, it means what? Lack of or the growth process have not reached all. Now, certain section of the people are excluded from the growth process. We can mean another say there are certain sections of people has been excluded, have not tasted the benefit of growth process. So it means what? The growth is there. Now all people should benefit of it. Now if all people are benefiting in development, now this growth is not benefiting all, certain sections are left out. Now how do you accommodate those left out growths? That is the inclusivity. Please note that there is a inclusivity. So inclusivity is nothing but how the excluded section of the community, social community, are accommodated to benefit the growth process. To accommodate the growth process is what you call inclusivity. Now, kinds of inclusion. Please note that kinds of inclusion. So, inclusiveness, we come to know through the documents as inclusive growth, inclusiveness. What is the synonymous terms for inclusive growth? And one of the major components of inclusive growth is financial inclusion. Financial inclusion. Financial inclusion. Now, please note that what are the financial inclusion schemes in India? What are the financial inclusion schemes in India? Now, inclusivity, please note that inclusivity means special programs focusing on women, children, scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, physically and visually challenged persons. Physically and visually challenged person. Now these are all the left-out groups. Okay, so this is a inclusivity. Next, please note that development and demography. Development and demographics. Now today, please note, demographic dividend, concept of demographic dividend. It means what? India has the advantage of youth population. Or simple to say is what? Out of the total population, majority of them are youth. Okay, so there is a demographic dividend. Now, how this demographic dividend, this advantage of large population is going to, whether it will lead to development, that's a question. Now, to lead to the development, what are the constraints we have? Please note that in converting the demographic dividend into Indian economic development, what are the constraints we have is, please note that one, jobless growth. We have a jobless growth. It means what? We have a growth without creating employment. So all these youths have to be provided employment. So we are growing but not creating jobs. So you have a youth population. It means what? You are not able to, So one of the biggest challenges for this is what? Jobless growth. Okay. So what is the problem is, what are the ways employment generation for the youths? What are the employment generation for youths? That's a current challenge. In agriculture sector, in industrial sector and service sector. So how the jobs can be created. So what the focus is, once you go into that, you'll, what are the sectors which are job creating, which we need to work out is, Please note MSMEs, micro, small and medium enterprises, MSME. Okay, and microfinancing institutions, microfinancing institutions. Okay, so it is not that we need to create a job alone. In globalization, within India and also outside India, we have to prepare our population. So we need to concentrate on not just what you call the employability of youths, but skill employability, which will be what you call. So in order to benefit out of the globalization, we need to create our workforce, majority of them as a skilled work. So the entire workforce, skilled or unskilled. So if you are making it a majority of them are a skilled workforce, we will be benefiting by the globalization process. Please note that next associated with this demographic dividend is what? Skill development. Skill development. Skill development. So we have a National Skill Development Council and skill development programs. Please know that what are the various skill development programs we have. So already I said you what are the sectors which focuses on employment generation, which creates employment generation, will be encouraging them. So one such sector, please know that food processing industry. Food processing industry. Okay. Next is social sector initiatives. Please note that social sector initiatives. So what are the social sector initiatives? The initiatives taken by, please note that, taken by education and health sectors towards development. Initiatives taken by health and education sector towards development. So your education sector and health sector directly links you to the development process. So please note that the schemes related to education sector and health sector. Now you have to focus on, you can see that from here, now you have to decode this and you have to keep watching the newspaper, not only understand the concepts but also follow it. Now you can see that on this syllabus 20 questions have been asked. You now go and decode the 2019 question paper and see on this areas how many questions have been asked. But without decoding, the people will say this is a current affairs. In economic, nothing they are asking, only 4 questions. So I will leave it. It's not that. The current affairs also, with some logic only they are asking. So when you are reading newspaper, we have to focus on these areas, any news is coming, yes. So when you are reading itself, you have to know, okay, now Modi is announcing this. Now our minister, Prime Minister is announcing this. Our Finance Minister is announcing this. Now we need to know this program is related to what? This, okay, poverty. This related to demographic. So once knowing this basics, you will be able to pick it up. So going back, I will tell you, read the NCERTs, have those checklists, okay? Try to know the concept before coming for the examination, because the test scheme is normally designed to test you on particular basic concepts only, because it's a unit test. It's not been the complete full test. So when the complete comprehensive full test comes only at the month of April and May. So before that, each week they will be testing on certain fundamentals and certain NCERTs alone you are asked to read. In that, whether these concepts are known, is I am able to understand. Apart from that, when it comes to development, please note that it depends upon your cataloging, recording of your daily newspaper reading, you have to do it. Or when you have a, what do you call, the track of it, the month end magazine will make it things easier. That's all. Even if you're not noting, if you're reading and having a note of it, at the end of the month you can catalog and what do you call, put you, this comes under this comes under this. So you can catalog it. So you have two things. A must know concepts based on that and their related, what do you call, current events also we should know. We should know. The questions are easy. So in your major thing, from science, only the current event related they are asking. In environment also, knowing the basics, yes. Now here also, even the basics are asked and also the related the schemes and current events also is focused upon. Is clear? So please go home. You will be getting an email on 100 plus concepts. Know that, plus have the what you call track record of the newspapers on these areas. Now before coming to that, do that. Now the trend is completely changed, I'm telling you, because you just ask anybody, they'll be focusing on the growth areas, but not on these areas. But not on these areas. And whatever I've said, if you're reading and applying the NCERT's understanding of development, yes, it's all there. Or Indian economic development, it's there. Nothing, what do you call, out of books or out of the basics you need to go, nothing. Is it clear? So before coming, just get ready for this and come, fine. So you are all trying to take up the prelims test. So before coming, focus on these areas, not beyond this, nothing is asked, I'm telling you. So even the UPSC says the entire preliminary syllabus from the date of applying, if you start, you can complete it. You can complete it if you start from February. But you people are far ahead. You people are far ahead. But you are far ahead means what? You do unnecessary things and you confuse yourself and finally you are at the crossroads. That's what happens. So if you have too much of anything is a problem. Too much of money also is a problem. Too much of time also is a problem. Too much of material is also a problem. So you should have, what do you call it? Clear focus. Yes, this is what I am going to do. And you just channelize your efforts towards this syllabus. On each syllabus, you have only 6 units left in your, what do you call, paper 1. Focus on this, decode it. Don't go beyond it. If somebody is telling you, why do you want to spend more time on that? And they say, UPSC again and again they say, without any specialization, yes, you can do this examination. You need not to be a specialist in knowing the sustainable development. You need not be a specialist in poverty. No. They are not getting into the statistics and economical statistics of poverty and asking you to calculate and estimate. No. Just know what it is. So, they are very, that is UPSC notification is very clear saying that what? These 6 units without any special preparation, yes, you come, take up our examination, yes, you can do it. Now that is the message. But all is being confused by especially commercialization. That's a simple thing. So you are getting whatever. So you are getting corrupted by commercialization, or it is not decoding the syllabus. Not decoding the syllabus. You just decode it. Simple, that's all. Nothing is required. Now, if you see, if you are decoding the syllabus, you will be sticking on to the, what do you call, path. Is clear? So, stick on to this, focus on this, nothing more than that. Now I also given a clue of this thing. So, this areas and this related information have a track record. Now you go home and check and see this year, 2019, June, how many questions have been asked related to this. You just ask your neighbor or your roommate saying that what? They'll all classify and catalog this into a current affairs. Is it clear? So just a very simple. I have even I think you just will get it on your email. All these what do you call it, the must know concepts also have it. I think by now you would have started reading it. Have that checklist, whichever NCERT the syllabus you are completing, please know that. So all these concepts in discussion of the test also will be cleared, or outside the ones through the test you'll be able to reshape and realign all the concepts rightly. That's all. Even whichever is not properly understood or the degree of understanding is less than adequate, yes, you can push it up through test. Because once you are answering it, why we have made it wrong, if you are making able to think, yes, the thought process can be realigned rightly. Okay, so with this, you just come for the preparation. You can do it. Have the checklist and stick to the NCERT plus the current ongoings. That's all. Simple. Current ongoing, I'm telling you, you just have the everyday newspaper record. You just make a note. That's the best exercise that you can do. Is it clear? Anything else? So just how to come prepared for the thing, because all of you have been by now knowing the what books to read. Again, I'm telling nothing beyond basics. Stick to your NCERTs. You have 9th NCERT, 10th and 11th and 12th. Fine. In macroeconomics, only 3 chapters in that. Only 3 chapters, and least questions are asked on that. You focus on the development. Focus on the development. Is it clear? Thank you.